A Montana State Corrections officer wants kidnapping charges brought against his superiors after they refused to let him out of his guard post at the end of his shift.
And I asked him where my relief was. He said they told him not to send anyone down. I said they cannot do that, and that I would like him to send somebody down now because I am not staying.
Cotton's superiors relieved him from his post about 20 to 30 minutes after his shift ended, and he later texted a coworker and said he was, quote, seriously at a mental breakdown, unquote. It was the second time in 24 hours Cotton says his superiors tried to hold him past his shift time, and he'd already scheduled himself for a mandatory overtime shift later that week.
That was the last straw. I was very angry, and mentally I was pretty much done with them.
So Cotton went down to the Powell County Sheriff's Office to report 2 of his superiors for holding him against his will. The investigation is active, and a preliminary report said Cotton's statement, quote, demonstrates that command staff called the unit sergeant and instructed him not to allow Anthony out of the control cage, unquote. As of Thursday, no charges had been filed. The Montana State Prison is no longer doing forced holdover shifts, said a Department of Corrections spokesperson. As of July 30th, the prison began a new schedule of 12-hour workdays, which the spokesperson said eliminated the need for holding staff past the end of their shift. However, on August 9th, another correctional officer filed an incident report after they spent 11 hours in a command cage with no break. The Montana Department of Corrections' struggle to staff the state prison is an ongoing problem. DOC Director Brian Gutkin and Public Safety Chief Jim Anderson have both testified in front of interim legislative committees about the lack of applicants and the number of staff leaving their positions. Anderson was not available to speak with MTN News about the ongoing issues. At a meeting of the Montana State Prison Employee Union Tuesday, Union President Kathy Clark said 3 people had turned in their 2 weeks' notice earlier that day.
The last time I calculated it, it was 158 CO1s. Last year it was 296. That should tell you how outnumbered they are.
Clark has worked at the Montana State Prison for 14 years. She said employee morale is at an all-time low.
I have never seen people this desolate and desperate at this point, wanting help from anybody who will help them.
The DOC spokesperson said the department does not comment on staffing numbers for security reasons. However, they said, quote, the safety and security of the public, staff, and inmates is the top priority of the DOC, unquote. Clark says management is not listening to staff concerns and the situation is dangerous. Is it possible that this isn't necessarily a management issue, that it's sort of just the snowballing effect of COVID and once people quit and then bringing on new people?
It is absolutely nothing but management. When you have large numbers like that, it is a management problem. It's not a money problem. It's not any other kind of problem. It is a management problem.
Clark says the people serving sentences in the prison are also becoming more frustrated.
They're not getting yard. They're not getting mental health services like they're supposed to. So it's a pressure cooker.
Anthony Cotton is about 2.5 years away from being able to quit his Montana State prison job and keep his retirement benefits. But he said on the night his superiors told him that they were not going to relieve him, he'd finally had enough. In Deer Lodge, Ashley Nurbovig, MTN News.